Hey guys, and welcome back to Regrets It, Brexit England, Northern Ireland, and Eastern Europe. And in an absolute first ever, yesterday the Houses of Parliament was addressed by a sitting Prime Minister who is a common criminal, Boris Johnson. Yesterday apologised 35 times in the House of Parliament. I mean, it's just embarrassing how low that man has taken the House of Parliament to. Just completely embarrassing. But you know what really struck me up in there is the way how they was all, flashing their pins, for the Ukraine and their half English, half British and half Ukrainian flag and their badges with the Ukraine. And I'm just up there and I think to myself, this is just sickening because these people, right, are looking at someone like me and just saying, you know something, yeah, you don't matter. You don't matter. Right? Because when people like you are in trouble, right, and having bombs rain down upon them, nobody will care. In fact, we will supply the weapons to the countries that will do that to you. Give Ukraine weapons to defend themselves, but give Saudi Arabia weapons to attack Yemen, while standing there, sitting there in the House of Parliament, right, with your Ukrainian badges on, you bunch of absolute hypocrites. That's all they are, a bunch of hypocrites. And they have always detested the working classes, treated the working classes like a big bag of shit, and the working classes just say, yeah, you treat us so badly, we want some more of that. Right? Just loving the absolute travesty of the way how the working classes are treated in this country. They treat you like you're black. So, men, welcome to a world with a much larger penis. And ladies, welcome to a world of a much perkier backside, not a flat backside anymore. Am I stereotyping? Is that stereotyping? And also, welcome back to By Any Means Necessary. Thank you so much for all your messages you sent me. And a special thanks here to everybody who signed up to my channel. I feel so blessed with so much people that signed up. So thank you so much for that. I'll go through all your messages. I'll answer as many as I can, but I will like all your messages for definite. And it seems that Mr. Roll With It himself needs a new hip replacement. Liam Gallagher, our kid, needs a new hip replacement. In fact, a double hip replacement. And you know what he said? Nah, go get it. He said, I'm not getting it. Right? Because he doesn't want to be seen like he's elderly. And he prefers his wife to push him around in a wheelchair. So it's just roll his ass around, roll his ass around, roll his ass around. Yeah, we're rolling it. You got to roll with it, right? So I don't know. I think he should probably he's probably going to get it because he's far too young, right, to be in a wheelchair, especially if he can have the operation to stop him from being in that wheelchair. Perhaps it would have been easier if he just didn't announce it to the world, and then he wouldn't feel so ashamed of having a double hip replacement. Or he could have went down the lines of saying, you know what, yeah, I'm doing this, right, so that younger people can look and say, actually, yeah, if I've got arthritis or something like that, it's not a shameful thing to get a new knee or a new hip. I don't think much people think like how Liam Gallagher thinks, but he's always been like it's probably all of the cocaine is probably weighing on his brain. That's probably what it is. The man accused of shooting up the New York subway last week, right? I think it was last week. I think last week, yeah, is a white supremacist. He's my complexion. He's the same motherfucking complexion as me, and he's a white supremacist. How the hell? Well, listen, it's not me saying this. This is what I read. He's a white. Right, they've got like he had loads of YouTube videos, and obviously they all on his social media is all the stuff. I think to myself, how do you work out that you're a white supremacist, right? When I don't know how to invite you in. I mean, they'd be like, well, we are white supremacists, and we want to we're going to welcome you as a black man. We're going to go and shoot up a black church, and we're going to get you to drive down there. You'll have a gun as well, so you can shoot as much of the Negroes as you want as well. I mean, what the hell? I suppose, right? He had to go on a lone mission because he couldn't find any actual white supremacists to go with him, because they'd have been like, "You sure you want to do this?" Because, I mean, I know what my motives are, but as a black man, what is your motives of being a white supremacist? What motivates you? You know, listen. That's what I would like to know, right? What motivates him? You know, Parliament, yeah, has been brought down to the lowest possible place it can be, right? And that, right, is that part of it is all down to Boris Johnson. The part where Parliament has always treated the people of this country, yeah, like crap, right? That's always been there, right? Because, you know, it seems that the people in this country want to vote for people who are going to abuse them. You know, I look at the people of this country as worse than, yeah, someone like Kanye West, right, who claims that he would have enjoyed slavery. Because I wouldn't have enjoyed it. I would have killed the slave master and his whole family. But someone like Kanye West, who believes that there was people that enjoyed slavery. But I think that you people in this country are worse than them. Because you vote for this. You continuously vote for this. You vote for people who have sold off all of your industries. I mean, they even said to you, after we finish paying for the Dartford crossing, it's going to be free to use. And then when they finished paying for it, they sold it. I mean, the French own it now. I think it's the French. It might be somebody else, but I'm sure it's the French that own it. But they've sold off everything, and you still vote for them. Still, this is over the last 12 years that the NHS has been completely destroyed. It's been ruined. It's in smoulders. Right? They need volunteers to drive ambulances, but those ambulances are only going to go to the hospital and sit outside the hospital, because you've got lines of ambulances sat outside hospitals for hours. Can't get in, right? But you still vote for them, even now, right? When they're smashing even the last few industries that they've got in this country, right? They've put so much red tape in front of the farming industry, right? That we've got, right, a 500-ton mountain of beetroot. I mean, I like beetroot, but probably only once or twice a year. So I don't, if it's down to someone like me, I mean, it's gonna rot. It is rotting already, but it's gonna rot. But you still vote for them. You vote for people who abuse you. This is what they do. You see Boris Johnson hand out billions of pounds to his friends and donors, and then they say to you, "Oh well, Jeremy Corbyn would have been worse than that." So, well, how? And you know what gets me, right, is it's all the influence in this country, yeah, all comes from the media. It all comes from the media. It all comes from it all comes from there, right? And these are all rich people lecturing you. And you know the strange thing is, right, none of them listen to your messages. When you tweet them or whatever, right? Because I heard one of them say it on the radio. I heard Andrew Castle say it on the radio the other day. He said, "You know what? I don't. He tweets. He's on the radio, right? So he's prepared to lecture you, but he's not prepared to listen to what you've got to say, because he just deletes all the messages. He says, I never look at any Twitter messages. So he says, I never look at any messages from replies from social media, because someone on the radio phoned and said, listen, I sent you a tweet about something, and it wasn't something nasty. It was something beneficial for him that she wanted him to know. And he said, no, I wouldn't have seen it, because I never read tweets. So these people, right, they are lecturing you, right, and they're not interested in what you've got to say. They're not interested. They might let people on the radio, but it goes in one ear and comes out the other, because they still carry on just doing as they want to, as Boris Johnson has proved by taking the Houses of Parliament to the lowest place it has ever been. It's never been in a lower place. I mean, it's an absolute disgrace. Just look at what people on the other side of the world must be thinking of what Britain is like. Just people looking at our Parliament, seeing our Prime Minister having to lie, having to apologise 35 times for partying while the Queen was burying her husband. You couldn't get more of a disgrace. You couldn't, and then they've got the cheek to say, oh, well, Jeremy Corbyn would have been so much worse. If talking about a man who he sacked Winston Churchill's grandson, sorry. Right? He sent Jacob Rees-Mogg to lie to the Queen to prorogue Parliament. Billions of pounds handed out to his friends and donors. Right? 160,000 of our fellow citizens dead. And these people will still look at you and say, well, he's better than Jeremy Corbyn would have been. And Boris Johnson himself says it. He's got that much confidence that the British people are that stupid that they'll be like, yeah, actually, yeah, oh, you know what, he saved us from Jeremy Corbyn. You look and think, he saved, right? And now, right, with an important war going on, well, you see what's happening is the British, right? Well, the English politicians are pretending this is the most important thing. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to pretend, oh, Ukraine's the most important thing, because you see Boris Johnson, right, is using this. Say, look at me on the worldwide stage. I'm brilliant on the worldwide stage. Just making a complete arse of himself. Right? Anybody, right? If you're at war and someone says, well, we're going to give you loads of weapons. Well, surely they're going to be your best friend. Just like someone who comes to you and says, you know what, I'll give you £1,000 a day. Well, you'd be like, well, will you? Okay, well, me and you are going to be very tight, wouldn't you? It's like the whole, oh, he's done so well. Look how he handled the vaccines. So, well, because you paid for the house you live in, does that mean you built it? I mean, he used our money to buy some vaccines. I mean, what is the, and I was people actually saying, oh, well, he's done well in the pandemic, but he's in the top 6 worst. But there's still people who are telling you, oh no, he has done well. Look how he handled the pandemic. Seriously, and they're still telling you he would be better than Jeremy Corbyn would have. It's just absolute nonsense. And the people of this country, they still vote for it. I'll tell you, you're worse than the people who Kanye West believes would have enjoyed slavery. You're worse than them, because you've got a choice. You've got a choice, right, not to be treated so badly. And you've chose the choice, right, to be abused. You've chose abuse. And why, I don't know. Actually, I do know. Is because you're a bunch of racists. Oh, then. That's the first time I've said it. I should say it more. You're a bunch of stupid, xenophobic, bigoted, racist idiots. That's the reason why you're allowing yourself to be abused by these people. Right? That's the only reason, right? And it's, what it is? It's really sad to see. It really is sad to see. Because I can tell you, right, the reason why I would never ever vote for the Tories, right? The one reason that stuck in my mind from when I was from when I first heard this story, right, was their poster, if you want a nigger neighbour, vote Labour. That's why I would never vote for them. because that is the true message of the Tories. That's their true message. Right? That's their true message. And the people who vote for them, that is what they know that as well, and that's why they're voting for them. So fuck you all. Mark Harper yesterday absolutely savaged Boris Johnson by saying Boris Johnson is not worthy, right, of being the Prime Minister of this country. Mark Harper obviously is a backbench Tory MP, but he wasn't. He's like an ex-whip, an ex-Tory whip, I think ex-chief whip. And he absolutely savaged Boris Johnson in the House of Parliament yesterday, with regards to Partygate. Well, Boris Johnson had to obviously apologise 35 times for. Now, you see, the rest of the world is looking at us and saying, well, all that stuff going on, and that's what's going on in your parliament. You're talking about a man who's having parties. That, right, is where Boris Johnson has actually taken the House of Parliament to. Right. Yesterday was absolutely for Boris Johnson was absolutely brutal. Right. And now you have to wonder, right? Well, you've broken the law, because remember that's what it was, right? Because remember they keep saying, oh, rules. It's not rules, right? You don't get fixed penalties for breaking rules. You get fixed penalties for breaking laws. Okay, so you've broken the law as a sitting Prime Minister. Why haven't you resigned? I mean, you accepted, let's just think who. Creepy big forehead Matt Hancock. You accepted his resignation. He broke the rules. You accepted his resignation. Right. Allegra Stratton, the woman who was named after an Austin Allegro. You accepted her resignation. But he's standing there saying, "Oh no, we need to get on with the with business now." And you just look at all of those Tory MPs, talking about and who are backing him. You just have to. What you got to understand here is they're backing him, so that they can keep their fancy jobs. That's what that. Always have that in your mind. What Boris Johnson's doing is so that he can keep his fancy job, and all those MPs, your Jacob Rees-Mogg and your Tetchy Dominic Raab, all those people, they're supporting because it keeps them in their fancy job. So don't get anything twisted. These people have never ever done anything for you. I can look at you and tell you that they've never ever, right? All they've ever done, right, is made themselves wealthy, right? They can go to to holiday resorts that you can only go for, you can only look at in your dreams, and you look at them from outside the resort, even in your dreams. Okay, those are the type of resorts that these guys are going to, right? These guys have all made themselves extremely wealthy, and then they've made themselves extremely powerful with it. And they believe that they are born to rule over us, and I don't understand why you look at them and say, oh yeah, well, you know what, you've known that Boris Johnson all this time and said, well, I'm going to be world king, and then you've actually let him be the leader of this country. I just can't, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Right? Why you'd look at these people, especially these Tories, right? Who your Mark Francois and your Andrew Bridgens and these people are just, they're not nice people. they're really not nice people at all. But every time you're still voting for these absolute clowns, and look where they've taken the House of Parliament to. The House of Parliament, is in the worst place it's ever been. Just low. And then we've got this story in the Express. Stupid Remainers, right, have erupted at the borders because they're taking too long to get through, right, and they're really pissed off about the new passport. I'm just wondering, I'm just thinking, well, I'm not sure whether or not Remainers, right, are going to be pissed off about the borders. They'll probably just stand there pissed off saying, well, we knew this was going to happen, because all us Remainers was telling these people this is what's going to happen. So I think that this is more than likely Brexiters, right, who are pissed off now, right, that they can't just that they can't just walk through like celebrities like they used to before. and now they have to stand in the queue with all the others. And I think that is pissing them off. But it should piss you off, because now you're actually finding out, that Rule Britannia, only works, in your house, and maybe, in the boundaries of this country. But other than that, Rule Britannia means shit around the world anymore. It means nothing now anywhere in the world, because we are an international racist joke. We are the world's officially. Remember last week, officially we became the world's most racist country. We took the title away from Australia as being the world's most racist. Hold on, because I've left out Hungary, because Hungary would have been in there as well as the world's most racist country. So I've left out because of their leader, Viktor Orban, who is basically a reincarnation of Adolf Hitler. So, but we've taken the title anyway of being the world's most racist country, as we've decided we are going to take brown and black people and send them off to a country that often has refugees coming from it. If one of those, if we have a Rwandan that's a refugee that comes over on a boat, are we going to send them back to Rwanda as in this scheme? I don't know if these things have been worked out, but I do know that Priti Patel yesterday could not tell you. Sorry, I forgot her title. Not so Priti Patel couldn't tell you what the cost was. All she could say was 120 million, and then after that she was just on the attack. She was just attacking. But for her, that all works out very well, because that is red meat, to them damn racists, in the red wall. Just throw them some red meat. There you go. We're going to treat blacks badly. That'll suit you, yeah? That'll suit you, yeah? We'll treat those blacks badly. That'll suit you. That'll suit you, mister. That's the world we're living in. Post-Brexit... I'll start this again. Post-Brexit input checks are set to be delayed again. And what was you expecting? Of course they're going to be delayed again. Because, you know why? Because Britain was never ready for Brexit. In fact, they're going to be permanently delayed. They're never ever going to be. They can never ever, because they haven't got a system. First of all, they haven't got a system set up for it. So it's a permanent delaying. Permanent. It's always going to be delayed. So even this time next year, when it's going to be probably the 10th time they said, "Oh, you're going to be delayed again," it's going to be delayed again and again and again. Anyway, guys, once again, I've gone over my time that I allot myself. I shouldn't really every single day, but I do. Anyway, guys, this is By Any Means Necessary. I'm the MC John Ribs. It was really nice to speak to you guys. Comments below.